Hello. So today we're going to talk more about measurement conversion. And today we're going to talk about mass and weight and volume. And so we're going to look at the metric system, and we're also going to look at our system here in the United States, which is a little bit more complicated, just like it is with measurement. So measuring mass, weight, and volume is a little trickier in the United States too, to do conversions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to look at, today we're doing lesson 12.2, and we're doing pages 166 through 172, okay? So I'll let you kind of get your page filled up and set up. And again, these chapters about weight and measurement, they always have a blue box that tells you the conversion rate. And you always want to refer back to the blue box. Don't be lazy. You just have to flip a page and go to the blue box. So we're going to start out our chapter by talking about metric mass. So we have 1 kilogram. Here's our blue box. We have 1 kilogram, and that equals 1,000 grams. Grams are used to measure things like fruits, vegetables, or medicines. Okay, so things that are small, you would use grams for. Kilograms are used to measure the mass of things like people and animals, things that are a lot bigger. You would never use a kilogram because this would be 0.00 something of a kilogram, right? So a larger object would be for kilograms and a smaller object would be for grams. All right. So if we're looking at doing conversion, again, we're going to be looking at, here's what we know. We don't know how many grams. We know that we have 4 kilograms. We aren't sure how many grams we have. So we're going to make sure that we look on here, and we know that 1 kilogram equals 1,000. So 4 kilograms is going to be the same as 4 times 1,000. And that's going to be 4,000 grams. All right. So we're going to do 1 and 2 together. And we're going to write out all the steps because that makes it a lot easier. So we're going to look on our chart. We know that 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams, right? Because that's what the blue box tells me. So we're going to take 5/8 of a kilogram, and we're going to multiply 5/8 times, our other green box is going to have 1,000 in it, right? Because if we have 5/8 over here, that means we have to multiply 5/8 on this side, right? This ends up giving us 5,000 over 8, right? Because this is the same thing as 1,000 over 1. 5 times 1,000 is 5,000, and 8 times 1 is 8. And then when I go ahead and divide that, get my division problem set up there. I know that this is thousands, so I'm starting with thousands territory, right? So I know that 5 is in the thousands place. 8 will not go into 5. Now I look in the hundreds place, and that's 50. And 8 will go into 50. Let's see. 8 times 6 times 8 is 48, isn't it? Let's see. 6 times 8, I'm double checking. 6 times 8 is 48. I was right. So it's going to be 4,800 When we subtract, we get 200. We're looking in the tens place because we're in tens territory. 8 will go into 20. Oh, whoops. Forgot to put that. 8 will go into 20. 8 times 2 is 16. Or 160 because we're in the tens place. When we subtract, we get 40. 8 will go into 40 5 times, right? All right. So we end up with 625 grams as our answer. So 5/8 of a kilogram equals 625 grams. All right. It's a little bit, when you're doing, when you have a fraction over here, it's a little bit fiddly, but you just have to work it through and follow all the steps, right? Okay, let's look at number 2 and see if number 2 is a little bit easier. This time I have 15 kilograms equals question mark grams. So I know that 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams, right? Because that's in my blue box. And you always want to make sure that you have, if your kilograms is on this side, it should be on this side for both of these. Grams is on this side of the equal sign. So this is going to be the same thing as 15 grams, 15 kilograms times, that's going to be 15 times 1,000. Right, I'm just filling in the green boxes, and that's going to equal 15,000 grams. So 15 kilograms equals 15,000 grams. This one's a little bit easier, right? Because I don't have a fraction over here. When I have the fraction, I end up with a division problem, which makes it a little bit more of a problem. Okay, now we're going to look at our crazy units of weight here in the United States. So here's our blue box for US weights. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. Tons are used to weigh things like tractors, elephants, not teachers. One time I had a student say that that you would use tons to weigh a teacher, and I'm like, I'm not that fat. Pounds are used to weigh people and animals. Ounces are used to weigh things like fruits, veggies, and like cleaning supplies or anything that's like kind of smaller. So once again, we have our problem up here. We have 2 pounds equals question mark ounces. So I'm going to my blue box and I'm writing 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So 2 pounds is 2 times 16, and that's 32 ounces. Now, let's say we have a fraction over here. A quarter ton equals how many pounds? So again, here's my conversion rate that I got from the blue box. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. So 1/4 ton equals 1/4 times 2,000. And when I do that problem, I get 2,000 over 4. And when I divide that, I get 500 pounds. So a quarter ton is 500 pounds. So we're going to do these 2 problems right here with pounds and tons and ounces, right? And we're going to use our handy dandy blue box to remind us of what our conversion rate is. So here's number 3. I have 7 pounds, and that equals question mark ounces. So I know that 1 pound equals, I think it said 16 ounces, right? 1 pound equals 16 ounces. The blue box told me that. So I'm going to take 7 pounds is going to be equivalent to 7 times 16, right? So when I go ahead, hi. Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, good, thank you. Okay. Thank you. So when I go ahead and I multiply 7 times 16, this is 16 ounces, right? I'm going to do that right here. And this is 7 plus 4 is 11. So I get 7 pounds equals 112 ounces. All right. So again, the whole secret to this is you're setting up an equal sign, which means you're setting up an equation. You want to have the same thing on this side of the equal sign and the same thing on this side of the equal sign. So using this little conversion chart, make sure that you get pounds on this side, ounces on this side, and then you can go ahead and just solve the problem. Well, if you have 7 here, in order to make that 1 into 7, you have to multiply it by 7. So you're going to do that on this side. Whatever you do on this side of the equal sign, you do on this side. All right, let's look at number 4. And then do we dare move on to number 5? I don't know. So number 4 says 7/8 of a ton equals question mark pounds. So I want to set up my equation, and I have 1 ton. I'm looking in my blue box right now. I just turned the page, equals 2,000 pounds. So I know that if I want to have 7/8 of a ton, I'm going to have to say that this is 7/8 times 2,000 over 1. And that's going to equal 14,000 over 8, right? So we're going to have to divide that problem. And that's going to look like this. And I'm going to have, this is 10,000s, remember, so I'm going to have, this is my 10,000s place. This is my thousands place. This is my hundreds place. This is my tens place. I'm barely going to have room for my ones. I might have to do some of it out here. We'll see. Okay, so 10,000s, I can't do that because 8 won't go into 1. So I'm going to put a 0 there. And I get 14,000 when I subtract. Now I'm going to look at my thousands place. 8 will go into 14. It only goes 1 time, and that's going to be 8. But because we're in the thousands place, it's 8,000. And then when I subtract, I'm going to get 6,000. So now I'm asking myself, this is hundreds, so I'm going to the hundreds place, which is right here. How many times will 8 go into 60? Well, 8 times 7 is 56. And when I subtract that, I get 400. But I'm in the tens place, so I'm now looking at 40. 8 will go into 45 times. And I get 0. And I keep subtracting and I get 0. So my answer would be that 7/8 of a ton equals 1,750 pounds. All right. So again, just remember to put the conversion below, and that tells you what you need to do. Do I need to divide? Well, I'm going to need to divide because I have a fraction here, right? And that fraction, when I multiply it by a whole number, it's going to give me a division problem. All right. Now, here's how we convert. Let's do the last little bit here. Here's how we convert smaller units to larger units. Let's say we have 45 ounces, and that equals how many pounds and how many ounces? 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So what I would have done here is I would have flip-flopped this. I would have said 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So we're going to take 45 ounces and we're going to divide by 16 ounces, and that's going to give us 2 pounds, 13 ounces, right? Let's say we're also trying to go from smaller to larger. So we have 6,750 pounds. And that, how many tons does that equal? 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. So 6,750 pounds divided by 2,000 is 3 tons and 750 pounds. Okay, so let's do this problem. Let's do number 5. And then I think, well, we could try 5 and 6. And then we'll worry about the rest later, because I don't want to teach you too much of this in one big chunk. Otherwise, it's really difficult to remember. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip over to the back of my paper, and I'm going to do number 5. And remember, this time we're doing 78 ounces, which are small, and we're making those bigger. So that's going to equal how many pounds and how many ounces? So 1 pound equals how many ounces? Well, I'm looking back on my chart, and 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Okay, so if I know that 1 pound equals 16 ounces, now I'm going to take 78 divided by 16, and that's going to tell me green box, remainder, green box. Okay, so I'm just using a division problem because this is going from smaller to larger, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide 78 by 16. And you're going to say to yourself, that's a crazy problem because this is a double digit. It's not that big of a deal. So 16 is really close to 15. And if I had 15 times 3, that would give me 45. 15 times 4 would give me 60. So I'm going to do 16 times 4. See what that gives me. 64. I think that's going to be as far as I can go, right? If I get a remainder that is 16 or greater, then I could go one more time. So I get remainder 14. So I can't divide anymore. So I have 4 remainder 14. And that's going to give me 4 remainder 14. And so that's 78 ounces equals 4 pounds and 14 ounces. Okay. All right, let's do one more. Let's do the last one on the other side, just to see if we've got it, if we've got the mojo. If we've got the mojo. So this one also has pounds to tons. So we're going to do the similar process with the remainder. So we have 9,425 pounds. And that equals question mark tons and question mark pounds. And we know that 1 ton from looking on our blue box, 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds, right? So I always want to write what I know from the blue box, what the rate is, the conversion rate that I know. Now I know that I'm going to have 9,425 divided by and I have my green box. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide that. I'm just writing in all the green boxes equals green box remainder and green box. And then I have my answer down here. So it says 9,425 pounds equals green box tons and green box pounds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide by, I'm dividing by 2,000, right? So I have these pounds and I'm dividing by 2,000. And then that's going to tell me my remainder. Now, this is going to be a crazy division problem. You're going to say to yourself, what the what? So look at that. We're asking how many times 2,000 will go into this. I'm thinking 2,000 will go 4 times, right? So 2,000 times 4 will be 8,000. And that's going to give me, remember this is 1. And then I'm going to ask myself, how many times? This is the thousands place. This is the hundreds place. This is the tens place. This is the ones place. Got to set that up. So now I have this number and I want my hundreds. So I'm going to ask, how many times will it go into 14? And 2,000 will not go into 14. So we're going to say 0, 0, 0, 0. How many times, now we're looking at the tens place, will it go into 142? No. So 0, 0, 0, 0. It won't go into any to that whole thing. So it's 0, 0, 0, 0. And when I subtract, I get 1425. So my answer is, it will go I think we're really going to say it will go 4 times. It will go 4 times, and then my remainder is going to be 1, 4, 2, 5, right? And they're asking us to do a check step, right? So they're saying that we're saying this will be 4 tons and 1,425 pounds. So if I go ahead and do my check step, 4 times 2,000 is going to equal 8,000, right? And then if I add 1,425 to that, that's going to give me my total answer, right? So I end up with 4 tons. I don't know why. I shouldn't have done this because it's 2,000, right? So it's only going to go in 1 time. I shouldn't have done this part. I'm not used to dividing by 4-digit numbers. Yeah, so sorry about that. This part is irrelevant. It would have only gone in those 4 times. Those 4 times, and then you would have multiplied it by 8 and gotten this as your remainder, right? I don't know why I kept going after I got the remainder. Probably because I'm not used to dividing by 4-digit numbers. So when you have a measurement that is, when you have something that is small and you're converting it to larger, then you're going to use division to do that, right? And we did division to do that. So if you're feeling like you're a little bit confused about this, don't worry too much because there's plenty of practice. And one of the good ways of practicing is that they're going to give us a whole bunch of these. They're going to give us conversion tables. And these are really a fun way to practice because you get to do the same problem a few times. So you really get used to it. And we're going to have, look, there's way more practice. And so we will do some of those together and you'll do some of them on your own. And I think that by the time you're done, we'll have a pretty good handle on how to convert measurements. All right. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about that boo-boo on the last one. I got a remainder and I just wasn't happy with it and I kept trying to divide with it. But the good news is I figured it out when I realized, well, that's a crazy answer. That wouldn't work. All right. Always using a check step is a good idea too. All right. So thank you for joining me. And here's to measurement conversion. We'll get a lot better at it when we practice at it a little bit more next week. Thanks for joining me.